here for this exciting day. And first off, we'd like to recognize some of our attendees in the audience today. We appreciate the support of the WSU Board of Regents present today, our Regent Enrique Cerna, and also Regent Brett Blankenship, along with WSU Provost Chris Riley Tillman. We will begin with opening comments from Interim Director of Athletics John Harlow, who will introduce head football coach Kirby Moore for his opening remarks. Then we will take questions before photos and breaking into one-on-one interviews. And with that, we will now turn things over to John Harlow.
Well, good afternoon. Go Cougs. What an incredible crowd we have today. We're going to call this a sellout. Coach Moore's first sellout. Thanks to everyone for joining us today, both in person and those that are watching online. What a great day to be a Coug. I want to begin with a few thank yous. First, President Cantwell, our search committee, all the Cougs who shared their thoughts throughout this entire process. This would not have been possible without all of their contributions, so thank you. I'd like to recognize some of our regents that are here today, campus administrators, representatives, community members, and alumni. Thank you all so much for being here. To our former football student athletes, if you're here today and you're able to, would you please stand? That's the current team. We'll get to the current group. Are there any former football student athletes in the mix here? I see John Glass, Jack Thompson over there. Remember, this is your program, always has been, always will be. To our fans, you show up and bring infectious energy. Cougar football is better because of you. Thank you. I want to acknowledge the coaches who came before us, those who helped build this program, laid the foundation that allows this group to stand tall today. Thank you for your contribution to Cougar football. Now, I'd also like to acknowledge this year's team. The job is not yet finished. This group of young men have been working hard through adversity, continuing to demonstrate what it means to be a Coug. I'm absolutely fired up to watch them compete in front of all the Cougs that are going to travel to Boise this weekend for the game on Monday. Gentlemen, let's go have some fun and chase a W in the process. Days like today represent alignment. All the groups that I just mentioned are here today because being a Coug means something. We have significant national interest in this position, a great reminder of the strength of our brand and the incredible opportunity it is to lead the Cougar football program. We also have a tremendous opportunity to lead the reimagined Pac-12 in the fall, chase wins and to compete for championships. But it takes all of us. It starts today, right here, right now. Thanks to several generous supporters, we'll do this in front of our renovated, elevated game day atmosphere next year at Gesa Field. This will include an expanded video board, new lighting, and upgraded audio. We're going to create high-impact moments at Gesa Field, and we're going to create a true party on the Palouse for Coug fans and for our student athletes. For all those reasons I mentioned so far, this was an incredibly important decision for Cougar football, for WSU athletics, for the university, for Pullman, for the state of Washington. Hiring this outstanding coach was the easy part. Now, Cougar Nation, it's our turn to do our part and wrap this program with support. And support comes in many different ways, whether that's buying tickets, showing up, supporting student athletes through scholarships, contributing to NIL through the Cougar Athletic Fund, or supporting the Cougar Collective. In the search, we were clear on the criteria we were looking for. A modern coach who wins with talent and strategy. Someone fluent in NIL, the portal, and the new landscape of college football. A culture maker, visible, driven, and impossible to outwork. A coach that is bold, inventive, and ready to build. Coach Moore embodies all of that. He may not have graduated from WSU, but this man is a Coug through and through. Kirby, welcome. To Kayla, Sutton, Cohen, and crew, welcome to the Cougar family and back home to the state of Washington. And with that, it is my honor to introduce to you the 36th head football coach of the Washington State Cougars, head coach Kirby Moore.
It feels great to be home. I'm really honored for this incredible opportunity. Being an Eastern Washington kid, I grew up following the Cougs' success, especially in football. 19 bowl games, 4 Rose Bowls, 14 first-round draft picks. Being the son of a high school football coach, my dad, Tom, is right over there. And anywhere and everywhere, he was dragging us. Our spring breaks consisted of coming to Cougar spring practice, right? My brother Kellen and I, with Mike Price and Bill Doba, and following their success. I have a number of thank yous, starting with President Cantwell, John Harlow, and the entire search committee. Everything through this process has been first class. I'm very grateful for your confidence in me leading Cougar football. I do want to thank my family. My wife, Kayla, she's a rock star. She's sacrificed a ton for our family. Our 3 young kids, Sutton Joe, Cohen, and Crew, who's 9 months right there wrecking havoc. My parents, mentioned Tom and Chris, incredible childhood here in Eastern Washington, growing up on the sidelines, being a part of Prosser football, winning 5 state titles, incredible childhood growing up on the sidelines. I've been a product of a ton of very incredible coaching mentors, and that's how they've built me. Chris Peterson, starting right away, playing at Boise State, seeing a culture built year in and year out. Jeff Tedford, who gave me my first opportunity in 2017 as a young receiver coach at Fresno State. Kalen DeBoer, a true winner and incredible offensive mind, learning from him. And then lastly, Eli Drinkwitz, taking a chance on a young Mountain West offensive coordinator in the SEC. To every player that I've been fortunate to work with, thank you. Moving forward, the time is now at Washington State to be the leader in the new Mountain West Conference. I look forward to helping our players build a positive culture while chasing their personal best. Everyone's personal best is going to look a little bit different. Want to help our guys chase two dreams, a life with football and a life without football. While we're doing that, we have to develop an elite edge while competing for championships. Right now, I look forward to building a staff that resembles and it connects and embraces the Pac-12 footprint. We need everyone pushing in the same direction in Cougar Nation. We will have an attacking brand of football, an exciting brand of football on offense. It's going to be about throwing to score, running to win in the fourth quarter. On defense, we have to confuse, hit, and harass the quarterback consistently. On special teams, our best players have to play. Lastly, to the Cougar alums, the door is open. This is your program. My family and I can't wait to ingrain ourselves back in the Northwest and the Pullman community. We look forward to getting to know the Cougar fan base and making them proud. Our goal is going to be to go 1-0 every week. Thank you very much. Go Cougs.
Well, at this time, we will take questions from the room. Here we go. First up.
Hey, Kirby. Greg was with the Spokesman Review. You mentioned all the head coaches that you would have learned under. I'm wondering if you could just kind of tell us a bit more about kind of what you learned most about those guys and the impact they've had on your life.
Yeah, I'd first start with Chris Peterson. Very consistent. Whether every Sunday came in the same guy. And for me, probably getting behind the curtain, I was a player for Chris Peterson. Was able to be a grad assistant for Chris Peterson and really appreciated his consistency on a daily basis. Jeff Tedford, a leader, and instilled belief in our players. We came into Fresno State; they'd won 1 game the previous season, went 10-4 quickly there in the 2017 season. Kalen DeBoer, incredibly innovative on offense and a great empowerer of people. And then lastly, Eli Drinkwitz, I think in the college football space right now, he's very innovative in terms of building a team.
Next question.
Kirby, congratulations. Awesome
Thank
catch
you.
with KHQ in Spokane. As you talk about taking over this program at the start of the new Pac-12, what are maybe some of the challenges that you've thought of, and how do you plan to attack those?
I don't see them as challenges. I think for us, we got an incredible opportunity to be the leader in this conference while building a team, right, and a staff, right, that I mentioned connects and embraces the Pac-12 footprint. I see it as a great opportunity right now. Right, there's a lot of moving pieces in college football. Right now, there's a ton of meetings going on with players, and right, it's their program. Right now, we're evaluating everything that goes on within the program, and then we're building a staff and building a roster as we progress here.
Kirby, congratulations. Jamie Vinnick, KookFan.com. Obviously, we've seen kind of your scheme offensively and what you want to do when it comes to offense. You talked a little bit about defense. What does kind of your ideal scheme look like, and what you plan on doing defensively as a head coach?
Yeah, definitely starts with stopping the run, right, and confusing, hitting, harassing the quarterback. We got to create turnovers. What the scheme looks like, that's got to be dictated by the personnel, right? And that's something we're going to consistently evaluate through the offseason, right? We might have a plan going into spring ball. You evaluate spring ball. If you got to move from that, we got to make sure we're playing to our strengths and get our best players on the field.
Hey, Kirby, Andrew Quinn from Crum 2 in Spokane.
Yeah.
Congratulations. I guess as you kind of look up here at some of these guys who, their futures were just kind of thrown into disarray in the last week, what's been your message to them in your first couple of days here about what you're trying to build here in Pullman and why, they should believe in you and your incoming staff?
Yeah, for me, first, this is home, right? I chose to be here. And in terms of building the roster and building this team moving forward, right, there's an incredible opportunity to be the leader in the conference. We're going to bring a great staff here to Pullman and just look forward to having the opportunity to win at a high rate here in Pullman.
Jack Wallace, 4 News Now in Spokane. Congratulations,
Thank
Coach.
you.
And seeing the turnover rates got really significantly improved in Missouri in your time there. What can you do to help that opportunistic style of defense and use it back on offense to score more with Washington State?
Yeah, I think it starts with attacking, right? And having that style, obviously we got to do a great job. You get what you emphasize on offense and defense, so it's going to start right away in the offseason in spring ball. And if we're really good at it, keep, right? If there's another way we got to improve that, we got to look into those and make sure we're exploring all outlets to improve from a turnover standpoint. And then on offense, that was a huge part of our success at Mizzou, was taking care of the football.
Hi, this is Trevor John from the Illusion Tribune. This question is for John Harlow. John, this is possibly one of the most pivotal hires in interim AD history here at WSU. What makes you confident, Kirby, and what are your expectations going into 2026?
Yeah, all the things that he's just mentioned there. And we were looking for someone that could run an innovative offense, that could put points on the board, that understood where we were in this pivotal point in time, new era of college football, new era in the Pac-12, that understood we were going to be building this together. He comes from an incredible pedigree of coaches. He mentioned his family, but also those that he's played for and learned under. So he's incredibly mature for where he is in his coaching tenure, and he's a culture builder. He talked about chasing 2 dreams. It's very important to me. You understand there's the football dream, but then there's a life after football, and we have to holistically develop these student athletes, and I think he's got the great mindset, and he's going to create the culture and make sure we do that.
Hey, Coach. Gage Anderson with the Daily Evergreen. What kind of program do you want people to think of when they hear Kirby Moore's WSU?
Yeah, really reiterating that, I want to make sure we're chasing, right, 2 dreams, a life with football and a life without football. I want to make sure we're developing a lead edge consistently in terms of everything that we're doing, and we're going to compete like heck, right, for championships within this conference on a daily basis. It's always going to be about competing every day and improving.
Coach, with this being your first head coaching role, when did you feel ready to become a head coach, and how fortunate is it for you to be this program so close to your hometown?
Very fortunate, right? The stars aligning in terms of the opportunity. I would say college football staff sizes have never gotten bigger, right? So for me, being at Mizzou and us having 12 members on the offensive staff, and me, right, being on the younger side and getting everyone pointed in the same direction on a consistent basis, right, that's difficult. And that's really when I probably took that next step as a football coach.
Hey, Coach, right back here. Ben Schicker with KLW News in Lewiston. As a Missouri native myself, what is maybe one thing that you're taking from Coach Drinkowitz, maybe some advice or maybe a conversation that you had that you plan to implement here?
I just think Coach Drink has done an incredible job of building the roster year in, year out, right? With the climate in college football, naturally, sometimes you're going to have attrition, right? Here's our strengths, here's our weaknesses, very innovative in terms of the NIL space and taking advantage of those opportunities to help our players.
Coach, the transfer portal opening up in not too long. What kind of players are you going to search for that would best fit with you in this program?
Yeah, there's going to be certain impact players, obviously guys on offense who can score touchdowns. That's going to be, right, really important. On defense, guys who can create and wreak havoc in the backfield. And then we got to create turnovers, guys, right, who are going to play well on the back end.
Coach, when you talk football and offensive scheme with Kellen, I guess, how has he kind of helped you along in your journey? I know you guys probably talk a lot that's not football related,
Yeah.
but when you do, discuss, and how much has he maybe been an influence in your own offensive scheme?
Definitely an influence. We talk very often, send in plays from film, send in plays from Twitter. Yeah, it's kind of wild, right? And we get together in the summers, and that's really all the conversation, whether we like it or not. Naturally, that comes up a lot. My dad's still asking questions about what we're doing, right, on offense, defense. He's evaluating personnel when he's out at practice as well. But there is a little bit of a difference from the game, right? Kellen being in NFL, college football, so some things apply, some things don't.
Well, a big thank you to everyone for coming here today. There will now be some photos, and media will have a one-on-one opportunity for interviews, but that will do it for today's event. Thank you all for being here today, and for those tuning in, and as always, go Cougs.